What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. The market was terrible today. A ton of stocks fell down in a giant way. The market was just very, very red. In this video, we're going to explain what is happening in the market, some of the most important news to know now, and some of the best stocks for the rest of this week. And we're not going to waste any time, but before we get started, if you are new here, consider subscribing. We post brand new videos every single day, but let's get right into it.
Yeah, Mike, a lot of stocks went crazy today, and the overall market ended up tanking off to the downside in a major way. And early in the morning, just like we've been seeing, Mike, the market recovered all the way back up. Last night, whenever futures opened, the market kind of gapped down, but this morning, the market recovered all the way back up. And then once the market opened, we gave back all of the gains and then pushed even lower, down below $420 at the end of the day on the SPY, that is. This is insane to see the market continuing to fall off at this type of pace, Mike. And we're seeing some pretty big stocks start to fall off at a big pace as well. We have big players like AMD down 5% and making new daily lows at the end of the day, continuing down with a lot of momentum. Nvidia is also falling off the table in a major way. And we have a lot of big stocks like Facebook continuing to go down too. So definitely not a good day in the stock market, Mike. And that's poor SPY just continues to get beaten down. And I'm really sick and tired of this whipsaw effect that we keep seeing in the market. You know, we just need to see some solid continuation one way or the other here.
Yeah, it's been back and forth for weeks now, and today was definitely a brutal day to the downside. So, kind of like you said, so many stocks fell, and it was pretty tough. But, gold and silver are the two assets that continue to climb higher almost each and every day. So looking at GLD and SLV, they are in a pretty good uptrend, and, we've been talking about them to the upside for weeks now.
Yeah, we have, and we've even been talking about crude oil, but I really like gold and silver a lot better. Crude oil actually flew up to 130 last night and then gave all of its gains back and never really recovered up as much. But we can see GLD, it flew up last night and then started recovering up a lot at the end of the day, almost recovering all the way back. So honestly, GLD looked a lot better today, in my opinion, and I'm definitely going to keep my eyes on this one, Mike. I know that it's been going insane, and looking at it on the daily chart, it's starting to really break out. I know that crude oil has been really popular lately, but it's been so volatile that it's been kind of hard to trade, to be honest. So I think GLD is the better way to go here.
For sure. And I just want to highlight a couple different stocks that like to rise when the market tanks down. We'll start out with the first one that is known the most, which is VXX. So this ETF normally blasts to the upside when the market tanks down. We can see today, Tom, it was up nearly 9% today, while the overall market was down a decent amount. So VXX likes to rise a lot. The market itself was down around 3%. VXX was up almost 9%. We also have UVXY, which is basically the same thing as VXX, but it normally rises and falls a little bit more than VXX, but they're basically the same thing. We can see that one was up around 13% today. And last but not least, we have SPXS. This one was up around 9% today. Basically, it does the exact opposite as the S&P 500, and it is amplified like by 3 times of the S&P 500.
Yeah, that's insane to see how much some of these stocks are up. And I know you can get some really good intraday moves out of these. I know VXX is one of my favorites, but UVXY really runs, like you mentioned, 12% today alone. And you can see that whenever the SPY started selling off at the end of the day in a major way, the VXX and UVXY started really ripping up. Like you mentioned, it definitely usually shoots up when the market goes down. It's not 100% correlated, but it usually has some pretty good moves. So definitely keep those on the radar. And Mike, as the market's been falling, we've also been seeing some of these defense stocks just continue to go up. I know Lockheed had a pretty good day today. They gave back some of their gains at the end of the day, but overall, the defense plays did pretty well. Lockheed was up, Northrop was doing pretty well, and even General Dynamics did well too.
Yeah, good point. You named like the top ones, but yeah, the defense stocks are definitely on the rise. And Tom, if you can go on like a daily chart of some of these defense stocks, just so everyone could see like the true run up that we've been seeing. Like Lockheed Martin, for example, just a couple weeks ago, this stock was at like 380, and today it hit highs of just under 480.
Yeah, that's insane. It's been a huge uptrend here. Let's actually get that percentage to the upside here. So if we go from like 380 up to 480, you're looking at like a 26% uptrend. And that's pretty big for a slow moving defense stock like Lockheed. Lockheed's been a pretty slow mover. So to see them start to get these crazy candles is pretty good. That shows there's a lot of volatility coming in. I know NOC has been just as crazy also. So definitely cool to see this. And Mike, we have some pretty big events tomorrow with Apple, actually. I know that the market has been kind of hiding some of these headlines, so Apple hasn't really been talked about too much lately. But we can see there's an awesome article by CNBC, and Apple has an awesome event tomorrow, and they're going to be showcasing a lot of different stuff from a new iPhone to a new iPad and possibly even some new MacBooks. So some cool things are going to be coming out with iPhones. Apparently, they're going to be unleashing a lower cost iPhone, which is cool to see. I know they already have one, but they might come in at a pretty good price point. So definitely eye that up. I know they're expected to talk about that iPad Air and then the new MacBooks too. So we'll have to see what Apple has in store for us tomorrow.
There we go. It's definitely something important to keep on our radar. And while we're talking about some of these major tech stocks, let's talk about like Tesla and some of the other ones really quickly. We can see Tesla was down around 4% today, which is pretty tough, but it's not as bad as some of these other tech stocks. But, what are you thinking with this Tesla price action, Tom? I know a lot of people watch this one. It's getting pretty close to that 800 support.
Yeah, it really is. I'm hoping to see Tesla hold up on this support, but I'm not too bullish on it right now, Mike. I wish I could be, but just the way it's setting up on the daily chart and the way we keep getting rejected at resistance, I'm leaning more of to the downside here. I hope that we see a bounce on this support, but with the way the overall market's starting to turn over too, I just feel like Tesla is just like almost like a ticking time bomb here, at least in the short term. I love them for the long term, and I love Elon Musk. So don't roast me in the comments too hard about Tesla going down, but I really like them for the long term. It's just in the short term here, especially whenever we see days like where the NASDAQ is down 3.6%. I mean, you have to worry about Tesla a little bit. So I'm definitely going to be leaning to the downside. And who knows, it might be good to play puts in the short term. So you might be able to catch some nice intraday plays with it that way. But I definitely like it longer term. It's just in the short term here, Mike, we're seeing so much selling pressure. It's definitely worrying me. That is a big level, though, at $800.
Yeah, that's true. And then how about like AMD and Nvidia? These ones are down significantly today. AMD was down around 5%, but Nvidia was down almost 7%.
Yeah, I can't believe these major players are turning over this bad. Like, look at Nvidia on the daily chart. They're starting to really turn over, and they're also going to be testing a big support soon, right around $209 to $210. That's huge for them. AMD is getting really close to one of their major supports at $100 even as well. So these are some big levels, Mike. And to be honest, it's not looking too good here. I personally think these ones could continue to sell off also. And if these ones keep selling off, it might drag ones like Tesla to the downside as well. So we have to be careful because these stocks have a big influence on the overall chip sector and just the NASDAQ in general. Because, whenever AMD and NVIDIA sells off, then we start to see Qualcomm, MU, and other ones sometimes start to join in.
Yeah, MU is getting destroyed today. I don't know if you saw that one, but that one's down almost 8%.
Yeah, that's even worse. And this one on the daily looks pretty bad. They got rejected at $100. They're going down in a major way. So yeah, add this one on the radar too. And honestly, if they fall below $75, that could be a pretty good day trade tomorrow, possibly.
Yeah, we shall see. And then Tom, I know that earnings, like the earnings season, has been slowing down over the past couple weeks, but what earnings do we have for this week?
Yeah, we have some pretty big ones. Tomorrow before open, we have Dick's Sporting Goods and then Petco. Those are going to be some pretty big ones tomorrow morning. I know DKS has been very interesting on the chart, Mike. Like if we look at DKS, they had a pretty bad day today, down 9%. But if we look at them on like the max daily, they've been doing pretty good the past couple of years since COVID. So I think that's going to be a pretty big earnings report for them. But the biggest days are going to be Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday, we have CrowdStrike and Asana after hours. That's going to be huge. And then Thursday, we have JD, Blink, DocuSign, and Rivian, even Oracle. But Rivian to me is going to be the most interesting with all the EV hype going on.
No doubt about that. And then I just want to shift over into just like some of these oil plays really quickly. The main one I want to talk about is OXY. You read my mind, Tom. OXY had a lot of big news related to it with Warren Buffett and then even Carl Icahn. So Warren Buffett bought around $5 billion, or he now has around $5 billion worth of OXY. And at the same time, we have Carl Icahn selling out of his position, which was also very, very large. So it's just interesting because you don't see two whales doing the exact opposite thing, like this too often.
Yeah, you really don't. That is interesting, Mike. I can't believe Carl Icahn's selling out as Buffett's buying in. That's definitely crazy. I know Buffett is normally a longer term investor, so I've been really curious to see if Buffett is getting into this for the long term or if he has more of a shorter term outlook on this, but it's definitely an interesting situation. I'm glad to see Carl Icahn selling out. Mike, do you know, was Carl Icahn actually winning whenever he sold out, or is he selling out at a loss?
No, he made like $1 billion.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, that's great to see. I know that OXY has really been flying up, so that's good. I know that it honestly really caught my attention when I heard Buffett was buying, Mike, because OXY has been going up so much. It's almost up over 100% over the past year. So I can't believe that Buffett was buying in all the way up here at the top. But I know people have been roasting him in the comments and stuff because I remember Warren Buffett sold out of some of those airlines at the wrong time a couple of years ago, and people just haven't forgotten about that.
Yeah, I mean, Carl Icahn and Warren Buffett are both great investors, and sometimes you disagree on things, but Carl Icahn's definitely locking in some giant profits, and Buffett must think that there's more growth potential for OXY. So we'll see what happens there. But Tom, do you have any final thoughts for the market or anything for tomorrow?
Yeah, nothing too crazy. I will say I did see some news come across CNBC at the end of the day that caught my mind with McDonald's. Apparently, this report saying that McDonald's has more exposure to Russia than other U.S. fast food chains. And the things that really caught my eye is that the CNBC actually reached out to McDonald's for comment on this article, and McDonald's refused to comment about this Russia situation. So I'm not sure if McDonald's is picking a side or not, but it's definitely interesting. And McDonald's was down 4.8% today, Mike. They're definitely on the downtrend here, and I'm curious if this article had something to do with this. But I know that the Russia situation's been terrible, and it's just interesting to see how McDonald's has been falling down, and now this article comes out. Definitely interesting to keep in the back of your mind.
For sure. All right, well, let's get right into these momentum plays for tomorrow. With the first one, we have PENN to the downside.
Yeah, poor Penn Gaming here. Go ahead and make them break below $40.50.
All right, with the next one, we have NVDA to the downside.
NVIDIA, make them, wow, they're actually falling down in after hours in a major way. Make them fall below 210, but I will say if they break below that in after hours, make them break below 208. I think that'll be the next major level there.
All right, and with the next one, we have BIDU to the downside.
Yeah, the China plays continue to sell off. Make Baidu break below 137.
All right, so we are watching Baidu, Nvidia, and Penn for potential day trades to the downside tomorrow, only if they break below the levels Tom listed. But I want to give a giant shout out to our member of the day, which is Medusa in the YouTube comments. Thank you so much for all of the support. Tom and I really appreciate you. And guys, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. We post brand new videos every single day. The market has been crazy lately. I mean, Tom, check out this intraday chart of the SPY or even QQQ. It has just been brutal. So there's been a lot of volatility, guys, to say the least. And as the VIX index continues higher, that just means that the market is expecting even more volatility soon. So be prepared, guys. We're in for a wild ride, and we'll definitely keep you updated every day, especially with the things going on between Russia and Ukraine. Besides that, if you liked today's video, please leave a comment down below, and thank you guys so much for watching.